Have you ever felt that those who wronged you are finally facing the consequences of their actions? The truth is, you hold a unique power, a subtle force that brings balance to your world. Those who sought to harm you now find themselves ensnared by the very traps they set. As you watch their unraveling, you understand that this retribution was inevitable, woven into the fabric of your existence. The wrongdoers who sought to shatter your peace are now mired in an existence that feels like a perpetual shadow, hanging heavy over them. They live under the constant reminder of their deeds, bearing a burden that they thought would fall on you. Their actions reverberate in their minds, replaying as a relentless sequence of painful echoes, each moment a reminder of the wounds they tried to carve into your spirit. These individuals are ensnared in a labyrinth of their own making, each corner revealing another sharp edge of their past actions. Their days are marked by the tightening grip of regret, pulling them ever closer to an abyss of their own design. You know the feeling that overwhelms them, that cold grip of realization sinking into their bones as they confront the fallout of their choices. They are tangled in the intricate web they wove, each thread tightening, suffocating, pulling them further into the void they thought would consume you. They thought their actions would fade, that time would soften the edges of their wrongdoings. But now, time has turned into a cruel ally, slowing down to force them to confront each moment, each decision, with piercing clarity. They walk through days that blend into each other, a slow march where each step presses them deeper into the consequences of their choices. Their mind is no longer a sanctuary. It's a chamber of mirrors where every reflection shows them the pain they tried to hide behind. The weight of their decisions crushes them, pressing down with the cold certainty of their deeds, their own hands the architects of their suffering. You see them carrying the weight of their misdeeds, an invisible shroud that others cannot perceive but one that they feel with every breath. Their days are heavy, each one longer than the last, filled with the gnawing understanding that their attempts to hurt you have ricocheted back, more powerful and unforgiving than they could have imagined. The very air around them seems thicker, as if every particle reminds them of the harm they caused. There is no sanctuary, no quiet corner where they can escape from the relentless grip of accountability that now defines their existence. Their nights offer no respite. They lie in the darkness, hoping for sleep, but finding only the vivid recollection of their actions, scenes of their wrongdoings replaying like a film they cannot turn off. It's a theater of torment, where they are both the audience and the protagonist, forced to witness their own cruelty in excruciating detail. They thought they could move forward unscathed, that their actions would be forgotten, but instead, they are prisoners of their own making, caught in an endless loop where they are forever tethered to the harm they've sown. Every interaction is now tainted by the weight they carry, as if the world itself knows the path they've chosen. Their smiles are hollow, and their laughter rings false, for beneath the surface lies the constant reminder of the wounds they tried to inflict upon you. They are haunted by glimpses of you, reminders of the strength they tried to break, and the person they tried to diminish. And with each passing day, they become more aware that their attempts to cast you in darkness have instead bound them to it, leaving them to fumble through shadows they will never escape. They are ensnared, not by the hands of another, but by their own. The life they tried to shape for you has become their own inescapable fate. Their every step is heavy with the knowledge that there is no undoing what has been done, no hiding from the consequences that now loom like specters, always just within reach, always ready to remind them that they have become their own undoing. For those who sought to shatter you are now shattered themselves, their once solid world now a delicate, fractured illusion, held together only by the fraying threads of their remorse. They exist in a realm filled with faces and voices, but none of them reach beneath the surface. They may smile, but it's empty, a weak echo of what connection should feel like. The people around them are mere shadows, flickering in and out, offering nothing but transient words and shallow gestures. In their attempts to damage you, they have found themselves in a wilderness, surrounded by shells of relationships that hold as much substance as mist, dissipating upon closer inspection. These hollow ties weigh on them, tightening around their lives like an invisible vice. They thought they were building alliances, bonds that could sustain them. But now they see those connections for what they are, fragile and crumbling, unable to withstand even the slightest pressure. You can see the toll it takes on them, etched into the lines on their faces, carved into the stoop of their shoulders, visible in the dullness of their eyes. Exhaustion clings to them like a shroud, each step a struggle against the invisible chains of loneliness and superficiality they once thought would serve them well. They are constantly on edge, moving through life as if walking on a wire that frays beneath them. Anxiety fills the spaces between their thoughts, twisting through their minds with a relentless grip that leaves them breathless, sapped of strength. They sought to unravel you, but now find themselves coming undone, their own nerves worn thin from the weight of pretense and the absence of anything true. Each passing day steals a little more from them, leaving them with a gnawing sense of unrest that no distraction can ease, no superficial smile can hide. They may attempt to present a facade of calm, but you can see the cracks, the trembling behind the bravado, the hollowness lurking beneath their words. Physically, they are diminished. They may have once stood tall, with pride bordering on arrogance, but now their presence has shrunk. Their movements are slow, as if the very air resists them, as if their bodies are no longer in harmony with their spirits. They have become prisoners of their own minds, haunted by sleepless nights where thoughts claw at them like unseen talons, each one a reminder of the harm they tried to cause, the damage they wish to inflict upon you. Their own actions have become ghosts, lingering in the shadows, always watching, always whispering reminders of what they cannot escape. The unease they feel is etched into every fiber of their being, a symphony of regret that plays on a loop, the soundtrack of their downfall. Their choices have isolated them, wrapping them in a cocoon of distrust and suspicion, for they know that loyalty is a foreign concept to those who sought to harm another. There is no solace for them, no comforting hand to guide them, for they have cut themselves off from anything that might bring peace. They are left to wander in circles, chasing illusions of happiness and connection that slip through their grasp like sand, leaving only dust and emptiness behind. They have fallen into a pit of their own making, each day an exercise in enduring the consequences of their choices. But you've risen far above their chaos. While they struggle to survive their own downfall, you've stepped into a power they can't touch. If you're still feeling the echoes of their attempts to break you, it's time to leave that behind for good. The Obsidian Inner Order is where chosen ones like you go to ensure that nothing from your past holds you back again. In the Obsidian Inner Order, we show you how to harness that energy and turn it into fuel for your rise. While they fall apart, you become unstoppable. Their collapse? That's just a testament to your strength. It's time to channel everything they threw at you into building a future they'll never reach. If you're ready to rise beyond the wreckage they created, join the Obsidian Inner Order. Inside, you'll unlock the tools to ensure that every attack against you only strengthens your rise. The link is in the description. These individuals, once so adept at weaving a facade, now find themselves laid bare. The people who once stood around them, offering support, begin to see through the thin veil of charm and manipulation. One by one they turn away, leaving the wrongdoers to stand alone, their true nature revealed under an unforgiving light. No longer shielded by the illusions they so carefully crafted, they are now exposed, vulnerable to the consequences that descend upon them like a relentless storm. Their world, once crowded with acquaintances and allies, has become a barren expanse, devoid of true companionship. The same people who once nodded in agreement, who played into their charade, now look upon them with suspicion, their glances tinged with contempt. Support erodes like sand slipping through their fingers, impossible to grasp or hold onto. Each day they find themselves a little more isolated, as those who once played along now recognize the deceit, seeing it etched in every hollow word, every false smile. The illusion they clung to has shattered, and they stand in the ruins of their own making, surrounded by fragments of trust that can never be mended. They are left adrift, cast into a sea of social exile, where even the faintest echo of sympathy is out of reach. The people who once filled their days now turn away, their backs a silent condemnation. It's not that they've simply moved on. It's as if the wrongdoers have become invisible, a void in the lives of those they used to influence. No one rushes to their side. No one offers them solace. They are left to wander in this emptiness, hearing only the fading whispers of conversations they will never again be part of. Emotionally, they are stripped to their core, left only with the harsh reality of isolation that clings to them like a second skin. The sense of exposure is suffocating, as if a harsh, unyielding light has fixed upon them, unblinking and unmerciful. They walk through each day with the weight of judgment pressing down, unable to escape the gaze of those who now see them as they truly are. Every encounter feels like a silent accusation, every interaction tinged with the awareness that they are alone in their deception, with no one left to shield them from the scrutiny that has now become their constant companion. Their emotional isolation is a prison with walls that grow tighter, each breath a reminder of the connections they have lost. The superficial charm they wielded so effectively now rings hollow, falling on deaf ears as those around them see past the mask. Each word they speak feels meaningless, echoing in the vast emptiness that surrounds them. They are no longer able to manipulate or cajole, for their words have lost their power, exposed as hollow echoes that no longer hold sway. The people who once hung on their every word now recoil, seeing only the truth behind the facade, a truth they can never escape. Those who tried to harm you now find themselves caught in a relentless storm of misfortune, unable to escape the consequences they set into motion. Their lives have become a series of setbacks, one after another, each more crushing than the last. They struggle against invisible forces, as though the very fabric of reality has turned against them. Every step forward meets resistance, as if unseen hands pull them back into the mire, binding them to their own mistakes. You know that this is no random string of events. It is the direct result of their actions, a twisting web of fate that they can never outrun. Bad luck clings to them like a second skin, infiltrating every corner of their existence. Doors that once opened easily are now locked tight, and pathways that seemed clear are now littered with obstacles. Even the simplest tasks become monumental challenges, as if the universe itself conspires to thwart their every move. Their attempts at success crumble to dust, their efforts rendered futile. They are forever chasing fleeting glimpses of hope, only to watch them vanish just as quickly, leaving them stranded in a desert of despair. The harder they struggle, the deeper they sink, like quicksand pulling them into an abyss of their own making. They encounter relentless reminders of the harm they tried to cause, as if the world around them has transformed into a gallery of their failures. Faces they pass seem to mirror their guilt, eyes staring back with unspoken accusations. Every echo in the distance feels like a whisper of their own name, each sound a reminder of the misery they tried to inflict upon others. It haunts them like a ghost, ever present, a shadow they cannot shake. Their own reflections betray them, revealing the hollowness within, and they are left to grapple with the stark reality that there is no relief, no sanctuary where they can escape the consequences that surround them. They might try to shift the blame, grasping for excuses like a drowning person reaching for driftwood, desperate to stay afloat. Yet, deep within, they know the truth. It gnaws at them from the inside, a corrosive force eating away at their denial. They can feel it in the pit of their stomach, in the hollow ache that refuses to subside. No matter how they try to evade responsibility, they cannot escape the realization that they are the architects of their own misery. Their mind plays tricks on them, presenting illusions of innocence. But beneath these fragile defenses lies the raw understanding that they alone are to blame. There is a relentless weight pressing down upon them, a constant pressure that leaves them gasping for breath. They are trapped in a ceaseless cycle of cause and effect, caught in a vortex of their own making. Luck has turned its back on them, and they are left wandering through a wasteland of their own regrets, their every movement shadowed by the consequences they tried so hard to avoid. It is as though their own actions have become curses, haunting them with every misstep, every missed opportunity, every failure that falls upon them with merciless precision. Their world is one of perpetual turmoil, where every attempt to find solace is met with cruel reminders of the past they cannot escape. Even their dreams offer no refuge, becoming twisted nightmares that replay the moments of betrayal and deceit, each scene a vivid reminder of the hurt they intended for others. The line between sleep and wakefulness blurs, leaving them trapped in a waking nightmare, where they must confront the reality of their choices over and over again. You stand unshaken, shielded by a force they can neither touch nor comprehend. In their efforts to bring you down, they underestimated the resilience that flows within you, a current of indomitable strength they cannot diminish. They tried to weave shadows around you, hoping to extinguish your light, but they failed to grasp the truth. You are beyond their reach. Your spirit remains untouched, glowing brighter with each attempt they make to pull you under. Their efforts only serve to illuminate the strength that binds you, an unbreakable force that rises above their malice. You are fortified, armored in a way they cannot see, yet feel profoundly. Each time they lash out, their energy dissipates before it ever touches you, as if striking against an invisible barrier they are powerless to breach. They may have thought their words could pierce you, their actions could shake you, but they miscalculated the depths of your resilience. You do not falter, for there is a power that courses through you, one that deflects their harm and returns it to them tenfold. They are left bewildered, caught in the backlash of their own venom, while you remain untouched, a force that they can neither subdue nor understand. They are bound, ensnared in a cycle of misery that churns endlessly, a relentless tide that they cannot escape. Until they confront the harm they have sown, they are destined to wander through the wreckage of their own making. For every wound they tried to inflict upon you, they now bear a scar, each a reminder of the harm they unleashed. They might lash out in desperation, but each attempt to bring you down only tightens the chains that bind them. They are prisoners, locked within a cycle of their own design, unable to move forward until they face the shadows they have cast. Their attempts to unravel you are futile, for each thread they try to pull only strengthens the weave of your spirit. You are protected by forces they cannot grasp, encircled by a strength that bends but never breaks. Their efforts crumble like ash before the unyielding flame of your resilience, leaving them with nothing but the echoes of their own despair. They cannot bring you down, for you are anchored in a truth that runs deeper than their deception, a truth that holds fast against the storm they seek to conjure. And so, they remain trapped, stumbling through a labyrinth of their own making, with no guide to lead them out. They cling to their misery, bound to the very cycle they wove in their attempts to break you. Until they confront the harm they have caused, they will find no reprieve, no escape from the weight that presses down upon them. The path forward is closed to them, blocked by the shadows of their own actions. They are caught in an endless loop, wandering through the fragments of a life marred by choices they have yet to face. Only by acknowledging the wounds they tried to inflict can they ever hope to find release. But until that day, they are confined within the cycle of their own making, a wheel that turns without end, grinding them down as they try in vain to bring you to your knees. Reflect on the moments when those who sought to harm you found themselves ensnared by their own actions. You have seen the toll it takes, the unmistakable signs of struggle etched across their faces as they falter beneath the weight of choices they can no longer evade. You recognize the way they stumble, trapped in the web they wove, as the consequences tighten around them, relentless and unyielding. You know with absolute certainty that their suffering is not by chance, but a direct reflection of the harm they once tried to cast upon you. Now, share your story. Speak of the strength that carried you through, the resilience that kept you standing while they faltered. There is power in your experience, a deep well of wisdom that others can draw from. By coming together, you can forge a community bound by shared resilience, a network of understanding where each story strengthens the whole. Let others see the strength that thrives within you, a testament to the protection and power that no one could take away. Join hands with those who know the struggle, who have seen the darkness and emerged untouched. Share your insights, lend your voice, and together create a sanctuary where others can find solace and fortitude. The cycle of their choices may have kept them bound, but you are free. Your story is a beacon, a light that cuts through their shadows, showing others that survival is not only possible, but inevitable. Speak out, stand tall, and let your story become part of the chorus that affirms your resilience, a testament to the strength that cannot be shaken.